Hello, Green Devil teachers. I wanted to share a little bit of a visual representation, some modeling of our strategy that we uh, learned today about front loading with images. And when you front load with images, the biggest thing is that you're providing context and meaning for the reader as far as what they are about to read, or even a larger unit that they're about to go through. So I wanted to take you through a bit of modeling as far as how I would approach this to provide greater meaning and context to a reader. So the lesson that I decided on today is one that has to do with the Great Depression. And I would potentially show students quite a few different images as we set up our unit, but just going to show a couple just to kind of show what the line of thought would be. So one of the ways that you could approach frontline with meaning is by allowing students to ask questions, and providing students this particular picture in terms to the Great Depression would lead students to ask the question, why are all the people in the picture why are all the people in the picture dressed like that? Why do all the people appear to be men? Why the free cup of coffee and the donuts for the unemployed? Maybe not the greatest resolution picture that we've ever seen. Maybe they ask questions about what this Horan store is, or they start to look at street signs and they kind of try to figure out where exactly this might be taking place. You also use it in addition to asking questions to allow students to gain context in their own life. And this picture in and of itself probably doesn't seem like it has a lot of connection to our students today. But, I would probably preface this by asking students, does anyone know what the Work Progress Administration program was? And more than likely, no one knows what the program itself is, but they very likely know kind of one of the big byproducts of it. And that, in our case here in Dayton, would be O.W. Davis Field. The oldest active stadium in the state of Kentucky was built by the Work Progress Administration. So that would lead us into a great conversation about the WPA was put in place to allow folks work to do, for the government to essentially put people to work and give them something to do. And our stadium and Bellevue's and Newport's and Ludlow's stadiums were all built out of the WPA. So that gives even greater context and a connection to students' own lives just by looking at this one photograph. Okay, maybe I would chunk the picture. So for instance, maybe I start out by showing the picture, the half of the picture to the right, where it's the little boy, or appears to be a little boy who's holding a sign that says, "Why can't you give my dad a job?" And maybe we have a discussion about who do we think the you is? What sort of work do we think that dad was doing previous to this, where he's lost his job? Then maybe we look at the other half of the picture and we see a sign that says, "Rarig's kid doesn't starve, why should we?" And maybe we get into a conversation about who we think Rarig is and what his role is in all of this. And then we talk about some visual appeals of, why would children be the ones kind of out picketing? So ability to kind of move throughout the picture and look at different pieces of the picture. And like I said, if I were doing this in a classroom, I could easily cover up half the picture. I could cover up 3/4 of the picture to get to a point where I was only showing kids that isolated portion that I wanted them to see until I showed them everything in totality. All right, so that is the extremely quick version of front loading with images. This is a great strategy for providing context to students as well as building more buy-in from them, because, like I said, when you have a picture like this, that it doesn't seem like anything that would relate to kids, and the WPA probably doesn't sound like the most exciting thing in the world, but then when you realize, hey, there are tangible things that I see in my world that came out of this program, then it really provides more meaning, and kids are that much more likely to both understand and buy into what you're doing.